Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whisky and welcome to 2018. My name is Bhainne PF and on today's episode I'm going to be doing a run through of my current collection of bottles of whisky. Obviously I've got a lot of samples up here as well. I'm not going to be going through those because this would take ages. So this will be a bit of an extended episode, shall we say. I'm going to go through all the bottles I've got here on the floor here and I'm going to move them up here one by one-ish and talk about what I've got so you can have a good idea about what's coming up in the next year on the channel. So I've got some basically everywhere, so I'm just going to grab stuff, talk a little bit about it and hopefully fill this table up and not overflow it too much because I haven't got that much. Disclaimer before we start, my collection isn't particularly exciting. I've got some good stuff, I've got some medium stuff, I've got some baseline stuff. I don't stick to only one kind of whiskey. There's bourbons, there's scotches, there's all sorts of stuff going on. So hopefully there's something in there for everybody. So let's just crack on and see what we've got in the collection, shall we? So starting off with a few littlies, I'm going to put these back where they came from as well. Blended, Chivas Regal 12. I did mean to get this on the channel last year, but just didn't get around to it, so I'm definitely going to be getting that one on there soon. Similarly, Glenmorangie Original. This used to be, well, it still says 10 years old. Excellent stuff. Now we've got a couple of other littlies up here. This is a Nikka whiskey pure malt. This is the Taketsuru pure malt. I was given this, this is actually a Japanese bottling, which is excellent. I was given this as a present from a pal of mine when he came back. So I've been meaning to get around to that. This is one of the only Japanese whiskies I've got this year as well, which is interesting. Last year I had quite a lot. Here we have the Kingsbarns. This is their spirit drink, their new make spirit. 63.5%, it's an absolute whopper. But they should be releasing maybe stuff this year. They were established in 2014. They were gonna do stuff this year, but they didn't get around to it because their first sets of casks they deemed not good enough, which is great news. You know, they don't need to put out. They're backed by the Weems family, so they are just making sure that quality is great. So I'm going to start rustling around. Oh, I've got two more other things. These are two little special bottlings. These are kind of pour your own stuff. You can get at Selfridges. This is the Allt 19-year-old. Hopefully be covering that one soon. And this one was a Christmas present from my wife. She's a Tormore 18 year, 46%. So I don't actually know anything about these at the moment. So by the time I come to do the video, I'll do a little bit of research and find out what the hell they are. Okay, so I'm gonna just grab stuff and see where we go. I'll start with some basic stuff, shall we? You'd have seen this stuff on the channel before. So we've got a little bottle of the Johnnie Walker Red Label. I only bought a little bottle because I didn't want a whole one. Trying to get through it, but it's a tough drink. It's a tough drink, as anyone who's tried it will know. The J&B Rare, again, I bought a little bottle because I didn't want to buy a biggie. Got this in an airport in Germany. It's all right. You know, I did a kind of blended review on those, so you can have a look at that. I'll put all kind of links to the ones I've covered already in the channel. Everyone loves to hate it. The Haig Clubman. I say everyone loves to hate it. It's not the greatest whiskey on the market, that's for sure. 15 quid, it isn't too bad, but as you can see, I don't know if you can even see in there, I've barely touched the stuff, so it's going to be a tough one to drink, I think. Well, who cares? This is pretty good, actually. I haven't really tapped into it, but this is the Tesco's Finest. If you're not from these shores in the UK, Tesco's is a British supermarket. I'm not sure if they go abroad, actually. Probably do. This is a Speyside, aged 12 years. It's an undisclosed distillery, although it's expertly crafted by master blender Richard Patterson, so you can have a good stab about where that's come from. But this is normally £25, but I got it for £12.50, which is a bit of a steal. These guys, you'll know, I talk about these guys a lot. Cotswolds Distillery. I've got an open bottle. This is the unopened bottle I've got, and I just wanted to show you this quickly because I did an interview with him recently, and Dan, I don't know if that shows up on the camera at all, but Dan was kind enough to sign my bottles for me. So I'm super excited about that. That will stay in my collection for a long time, I should imagine. I'm not the kind of person who flips, so maybe my kids or my grandkids will get to sell that one day, we'll see. Reaching over, Mackmyra, and this is the Brukswhisky. This is their basic entry level. I haven't got many in boxes, so you won't have to see me unbox too much. I have opened this to give it a go, but it's really quite tasty. It's not old stuff, but we'll go through that when I actually cover it on the channel. but a friend of mine who lives and works in Sweden and is Swedish, he brought that over for me, so I got that really quite cheap, which is great. Let's cover some bourbons. I've got lots of bourbon in front of me. Starting at the bottom, Jim Beam White Label. I've been struggling to get through that because I've always got better bourbon in the cabinet, but it's a reasonable drink for the price in the UK. I'm just going to grab stuff. This is not in any particular order. The W.L. Weller Special Reserve. I was given this as part of the Secret Santa on the British Bourbon Society. If you're into your bourbon and you're in the British Isles, then check them out on Facebook because they do loads of good stuff. They've got their own kind of bottlings going on the go, but you did this kind of Secret Santa £30 limit thing, and it was really good fun. The Eagle Rare, 10-year-old, still says 10-year-old on the back somewhere, aged 10 years, yeah. It's pretty good. I was a bit unimpressed with it actually, but I'll cover this eventually. I'm getting through it, nice enough, but it's not the best bourbon in my collection, that's for sure. Jim Beam Double Oak, twice barreled, whatever that means, but again, haven't covered this one yet. I won this as part of a little competition for the Birmingham Whisky Club, which is my nearest whiskey club. Good girls, good people. The Elijah Craig 12-year-old. I heard kind of talkings that they were going to get rid of the 12-year-old label on this, so I did buy 2 bottles, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, so I wouldn't rush out. Woodford Reserve, bog standard. Got this in Marks and Spencer's for about 30 quid, something like that. I think it goes cheaper. No, maybe £25, I don't know. I think I bought it cheaply, but it's a decent drop, you know, decent drop. Not a bourbon, but Colorado American whiskey, Tincup, as denoted by the Tincup. Picked this up in a UK supermarket of all places. I can't believe the stuff you can get in the UK supermarkets now, considering that's made in America and shipped over. Bloody brilliant. Some stuff that you guys might not have seen. I have covered it on the channel previously, and that's the TX blended whiskey, Texas whiskey, and their TX bourbon. Unfortunately, I haven't drank all of that. I've been sending a lot of this out as samples because the distillery were kind enough to send me these. So I wanted to do them right and try and spread the love. The love will spread. We'll be covering the bourbon some point this year. So I'm going to move on to some Scotches. I think all the rest of this is going to be Scotch. I've got a few other bits and bobs in my kind of special collection. But let's go for some Scotches. Highland Black, 8 years. This is Aldi. Aldi in the UK send this out to us. Bit of a secret distillery. It's a blended. There's probably loads of stuff in there. It's won lots of awards, but personally, I'm not a fan. We'll be covering that one shortly. Just grabbing stuff. British, not Scotch, English. This is the one British blended, but this is the Tawny Port cask finish. We'll be covering this at some point. I think the stock is gone now, not sure. I've got some more stuff of theirs as well, so we'll see about covering more of that. Christmas present, the Glenlivet Founders Reserve. Moving on. Just grabbing stuff now. Glengoyne 10 years. I've covered this on the channel, but I bought another bottle of it straight away. Really cheap, really good drinking. Well worth having around. The Ardmore Legacy, lightly peated. A lot of people slam this, they say it's too basic, but for me it's decent drinking. For 20 quid, you can't really go wrong with that, I have to say. I'm going to tentatively balance that there. Okay, 2, I'm going to do these ones together, because you can't really get these anymore. Glenmorangie Limited Reserve. These are more Aldi ones, so this is the Sherry Cask edition, and this is the Rum Cask edition. I was going to cover these last year, but then they took the stock off the shelf, so it seems pretty pointless, to be honest, if nobody can get them. But these are like £17 or something like that. They're absolutely brilliant for £17. Go-to drinking, especially the rum. If you like rum finish. I don't really like rum that much, but that's quite tasty. Aha, Douglas Lang Old Particular, single grain, Strathclyde 25. Big old mouthful. I picked this up when I went to see Maltman Mike, and he did a kind of bloggers tasting night, and there was some basic stuff there, sure, but this one really stood out for me, so I picked up a bottle straight away. And I'm sure if Brian of Malt Musings is watching, he'll still be very upset about that, but never mind. Going a bit further abroad, French Armoric sherry cask, sherry finish. Picked this up in France. Been meaning to cover this for a while now, but as you'll see on this map, I'm gonna start covering more things in different places. So kind of Spain, France, whatever, Norway. That's gonna be one of those in that little series. Back to Glengoyne. This is a cask strength, one of their cask strengths. This is batch number 4. Tried this at a festival in the VIP lounge and bought a bottle of it straight away. Absolutely fantastic, but not particularly easy drinking. Here's a bit of a strange one for you. Claxton's single cask. I say strange because it's an Ardmore 8-year-old, but this was bottled for a dram a day. You know, if you don't know who a dram a day is, last year, 2016, kind of bled over a little bit, but he did literally a dram a day on his YouTube channel every day for an entire year for charity. I bought this bottle to support Bhainne and his endeavours, because this was about 50 quid, and it supported his charity and the charity of the shop where it was bought from. But it's actually really rather good, and it was one of the drams that was responsible for getting me into more smoky whiskies, because this is an Ardmore 8-year-old, but it's aged in Islay cask whiskey, Islay cask barrels. Tasty. I must get Bhainne on the channel. Oh, reach over. Big bottle of the famous Vincent. Not the famous grouse. This is a special bottling that my auntie and uncle bought for me when I got married. I still haven't tapped into this, to be honest. I don't know why, because it's just normal famous grouse stuff. So it's a big old litre. When I finish my current bottle of famous grouse, I'll probably open that. This is all Highland Park stuff now, so let's just crack on with it. Actually, quite a lot of travel retail. People just buy me this stuff. So this is a Highland Park Sven. Just covered that on the channel. So if you want to see that video, I compare it directly to the Einar. Both reasonable quality. The price goes up a little bit. And just for Christmas now, I've just been bought this, the Highland Park Harald. Haven't opened this yet, so I can't tell you anything about it, apart from the fact that it is the next one up in this order. Another pickup of this week was the, in fact I got this for Christmas off my mate. This is the Highland Park 12-year-old, but this is the new Viking Honour kind of bottling. Haven't opened this yet. I've just finished my last bottle of Highland Park 12-year, so I will crack into this. I'm probably going to re-review it because it's a new bottle shape. See what it's any different. This is a bit of a weird one as well. I saw this one in Tesco's again. The Highland Park Dragon Legend. Haven't opened it, don't know anything about it. I heard somewhere that people are worried that it might replace the 12-year-old, but I don't think that's true. Highland Park would really shoot themselves in the foot if they did that. Right, we're on the back straight now, so we've got a few more interesting ones, and my finale is my best bottles. There's only a few of them, but this is the Cheetah single grain Japanese. It's pretty good actually, nice and cheap. This is Norwegian Udne, 4 years old. This is a couple of years old now. I need to get the next one, I think, but I'm going to be covering this on the channel. I was bought this by my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. They live in Norway. Excellent stuff, really nice for 4 years old. And yeah, these are now my kind of top-end bottles that I've got. This is a Chieftains Dalmore 19 years. Absolutely blinding this is. I got this, given this for my 30th, so I've had this a couple of years now. And this is only one of 727 bottles. And it was distilled when I was 10 years old. Fantastic. Can't believe that. But that's lasted me a little while. I try not to drink that too much, special occasions only. Highland Park 21 years. Picked this up for an absolute bargain. But I will cover that when I get to it. My most expensive bottle I've ever bought. The Glenmorangie Elanta. Bit of a story behind this, but it was £66 when I first saw it, when it first released. And I loved it, and I couldn't afford it at the time. And then about a year later, I thought I must get a bottle of that, and it had gone up to £185. Absolutely insane, but I bought it at that. Crazy. But now, people are selling it for like £300 odd. I opened it because it's fantastic, and I didn't want to be one of those guys. And finally, the Balblair 99. This is the first release, so this is the one that they did exclusively for travel retail. And I was bought this by my friend who I was best man for. So this is, again, a couple of years it's been open for now. I try not to tap into it. It's not particularly expensive, but it's really rather nice, and it's completely different from the second release and the third release of the same year. Well, there you go. I mean, that's fit pretty much perfectly on there. I can't believe that. That's all the bottles I have. Like I said, it's not particularly a far-reaching bottle collection. I try to keep a good flow of bottles going, and as you can see, I don't have many that aren't open. I only tend to buy bottles that I think I'm going to drink. I don't tend to buy anything that I'm going to keep or whatever. It seems a bit of a waste if you ask me. Obviously, this is all going to get covered at some point, and I'm going to be covering a lot of the samples I've got here from the Dram team and from friends and things like that. None of this comes from distilleries. I just swap with people. That'll give you kind of general overview about what I'm going to be covering in the next year and hopefully beyond. Kind of keeping my kind of sights just to this year and see where we go. Hopefully you enjoyed me checking out my collection. There's a few things in there that might interest a few of you. Keep watching, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again on more No Nonsense Whiskey videos.